Today we're comparing the Kawai ES120 along with the Roland FP-30X. Stick around, it's going to be fun. Hi, this is Ted Barsley with Alamo Piano Galleries.
And I'm Roland Perez from the Alamo Music Sound Lab.
And we're here to have some fun today comparing these keyboards. And these keyboards you should be able to find online at alamopianogalleries.com. Information both about the Roland FP-30X and as well as the Kawai ES120. And there should be information on just about everything we've ever done a video on. But lately I've been seeing some comments that we don't have stuff in stock, like, you don't have one of these. And I look and it's like a 6-year-old video and it's like old stuff.
Well,
I mean,
products come and goes.
So I played this thing and I have my opinion. So I'm hoping that you can, I have nothing against it except for I don't like having to hold down a function button.
Oh man, I'm totally with you there. But you got to consider, and this is where it is, right? These manufacturers, to deliver something of this quality as far as the key bed is concerned and the engine itself, they got to cut a little corner somewhere along the line, right? So yeah, the whole holding down a function and clicking a key to get a different sound is a little cumbersome, but once you know the layout, it's not too bad.
Well, I guess they don't put a map on here.
Right.
Like, okay, and you get that instruction, it's that micro print, and I'm an old dude, man. And it's like, I understand the concept. It's kind of like those function buttons you used to have on a Commodore 64.
Right.
Where everything does multiple functions.
We're dating ourselves here.
There used to be the control button did one thing, and then there was another button, alternative, the alt button did something different. Then all of a sudden, computers turn the corner and you have to use both of them at the same time.
Yes.
And so I thought they just depleted a lot of functions. But when that shows up in a keyboard, I'm already, forming an opinion.
I'm with you there, but you got to remember that, it's not just this manufacturer, this model. A lot of manufacturers of this price point are going to be at that level as far as like holding down a particular key and a couple of buttons to get to where you need to go. It is the cost cutter thing. But these keyboards really are meant for beginner to intermediates or professionals that want a really lightweight piano to take to a gig. So, all things considered, I would like to see the price point jump a little bit more on these to offer more on the top panel. You're right. I think that's an easy thing to do, but for some reason, manufacturers haven't caught on to that just yet.
Now, with the Roland in price, how does that compare with the Kawai? Because they're in the same range, or
yeah, so they are about the same price point dollar-wise, right? But they are very different keyboards sound-wise and feel-wise. They both look identical, more or less. They both are at the same kind of price point, more or less, but it's the sound and the feel that are different on both of these. Which one did you prefer?
The Roland, without a doubt. I just think the amount of features and the quality of the sounds and the feel of the key, everything that goes in that Roland, to me, is packed, and I just prefer, at this price range, at this model, the ES120, it's got a great piano sound, and it's got a great play. But other than that,
yeah, well,
the Roland packs really great thing. There's good sounds in it and stuff, but it's not.
Well, you know what? Let me talk about the difference in sound between the two and the feel, right? So for me, the Roland thing is a little bit brighter on the piano side. The Kawai is a little bit more deeper, more darker tone.
It's robust. It's a big one.
The action to me is a little bit heavier on the Kawai, and it's a little bit lighter on the Roland. So really, there's two schools you're talking about here, and it just depends on personal preference. Every one of y'all watching this that's wondering about these keyboards, you really got to try them both out to see which one's going to be right for yourself. But I do find that both have, pros and cons.
I had a thought here, man. The Kawai always seems to be on their first piano sound, no matter where it's at. It always seems to be made for classical music.
Right.
Okay, so the best way I can describe this is that, Brahms and Beethoven would take this to a gig, and Chopin and Mozart would take, like, the Roland.
Oh, totally.
Okay.
That's great.
Do you understand the concept?
Do.
This is a darker, heavier, I'm a serious, melancholic composer.
Right.
I want a serious, rounded, sonorous piano tone.
Right. Yeah,
That means I can make it happy up here, but I can really bring people down in dumps at a funeral type music down in here. All
I
right.
think you're right about that,
And so
man.
then when you go to the Roland sound, it's like, hey man, this is hip, this is pop, this is great for a pop song.
It also reminds me of like an Elton John piano, a little bit brighter, more tacky.
And that's the one thing I've noticed about Kawai. I think there's a lot of artists that play Kawai, and now it's different, but like 30, 40 years ago, even 50 years ago, Kawai had a few artists. There were artists that used Kawai pianos.
Right.
And Barry Manilow was a consistent one for a long time.
You know, I will say this though. I'm not a piano player per se. I'm a synthesizer guy, but I did play this keyboard for the video just a little bit ago. And while I found the piano really nice and rich and robust, one of my favorite sounds on here, well, actually two of my favorite sounds on here were the electric piano and the strings. I think the strings on this machine are way bigger and nicer and sweeter than the Roland.
Well, they're thicker sounding, and they're a lot. Yeah, they are. Why don't we have a listen? Because
Okay.
I think I played the Roland, didn't I?
You did.
Okay, so we'll just have a comparison like that.
All right.
Now, again, I wanted to mention this. These demos, we did not have these pianos on their, what do you call it, the stands that come with them. It's extra cost. Both the Kawai and the Roland have a stand, and they also have the 3-pedal arrangement.
Right.
Now, that is the true way to demo the thing.
Right.
And however, what do you think? And they sound great. I always thought that Kawai had a little bit deeper of a piano sound to it.
I agree.
Than the Roland.
I'll tell you what, though, again, at this price point, for anybody that's getting into piano or even a professional user that wants a very cost-efficient sounding piano and feeling piano, then you really, I mean, things have gotten really good in the past couple decades, right? This kind of technology would have cost 10 times as much just a few years ago. So I think both pianos have a really good thing going on with them for anybody.
Well, if you're mostly piano driven and you want a great sounding, feeling piano, and this is perfect. You turn this on, it always comes up to the #1 third concert grand setting, and it's perfect. But I also think that even for a gig, it's perfect. And you take the outputs and get a bigger sound through a PA or something. However, I'm partial toward the Roland, I guess, probably because it.
No problem there, man. That's a great piano.
It's a great piano, and it has great sounds in it, and it has, to me, it's just a personal thing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it has something to do with the function button. And, you know, when you were talking about how it's designed to save costs and all that, and the thought that went through my mind is Casio. They must be the world leader in multifunction sounds, because I think some of them, the drum beats change.
Right.
And there's no labeling, there's no screen, so you have this 1950s roadmap thing that you get to lay out and look for where your sounds go.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
but
no doubt.
I do love this fact, okay, because when you compare it to having, like, for example, Prophet 600, you want to transfer some data and find something out, you had all those maps, you had a cassette and a thing, and you had to plug it in with the headphones and listen to that 5 or 10 minutes of mouse squeaking on the data tape.
Right.
And then eventually that you get hearing that on the internet. And then it goes away and everything's wireless and the chips get bigger and burned in and all the stuff is there.
It's there.
The access is what costing money. You have to put a button on the front. And with a button alone today doesn't cut it. You got to have an LED light. It's got to be lit. Something.
You know, a few more buttons, please, y'all. Come on.
I think that would be great. I love things that are button driven, and everyone likes knobs to turn. So you're lucky because on the synth channel, everything's got a knob, a slider, a ribbon. There's all kind of cool stuff in there, as opposed to having to pull out a roadmap. Just, you know, and I guess part of it is I'm getting older. I need reading glasses. And so, and not only that, things as they print stuff now, it gets smaller.
Oh, sure.
You know, when a teenager, you had an album. And it came with big posters, and all the lyric sheets were the size of the album.
Yeah.
Now you get a CD, and they got it micro printed onto this thing. You really need a magnifying glass.
Totally.
And it's hard to enjoy. They're just giving you information. I want the art.
Yeah. You know, but here's the thing. Seeing as though it doesn't have a whole lot of things underneath the top panel, so to speak, once you get familiar with it and do what you got to do a few times, you kind of memorize it. So it just takes about a couple weeks worth of using the piano and knowing where you need to go. After that, it'll be instinctual. So I think it's totally doable. Again, especially at this price point. Again, for beginners. Again, for intermediate. Again, for professionals. It's just a cool piano. Both of them are.
Okay. Roland, I have a Kawai question for you.
All right.
And then I'm going to have a Roland question for you. Is there an app that goes with this that you can go in and change the sounds without having to use the function button? Does it have that kind of function? For some reason, I'm sitting here thinking some of these have apps, but not all all of them take the apps. And what's the status with the FP30X? Does that
the FP, yes, there is an app for the FP30. I don't know about the Kawai though.
I haven't sat down and messed with it. I should probably look into that because it's got these computer things here.
Well, yeah, you've got a USB port in the back, which is, you know, you can use this as a controller for software synthesizers. You can use it as a controller for notation purposes on your computer or iOS device.
Bluetooth?
It does have Bluetooth, so you've got that as well.
The app must kind of work if it communicates through Bluetooth.
There's got to be an app for it. If not, Kawai better come up with an app for it.
Well, I should know this, but, you know, I do know this. All the Kawai product that I've reviewed, I can't say that every single one of them take advantage of all the different apps.
Right.
But I do know that on the 120, the KDP 120, because we're gearing up to do a video on that, because that's more of like a student piano.
Sure.
Because it does come with the stand, that there's a lot of music literature in here.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Hanon and all the practice skills and all those kind of things are in the KDP 120. I'm assuming they're in here. I'll have to go check. That's an interesting question. But there's viewers out there that I thank for their time, and I'm sure they're going to tell us.
Yeah.
Whether
it does or don't.
I hope they do, because a lot of times, I don't want to admit to doing this too much, but it's kind of cool to put out some, false information so people can participate and correct you, see? So you throw out like leader lines or something.
Y'all can contribute as well. Chime on in.
With that, you have anything else to add to the video today, Roland? Because
No.
that's a lot of fun doing these comps.
I think it's great. And again, once again, I love both pianos. I think they're both fantastic in every regard, every right. Great price points on these. So if you're shopping for a beginner to intermediate piano, you really should look at the ES120 or that Roland, the FP30X.
The FP30X is a great keyboard. I like it a lot. And the Kawai ES120 is a phenomenal electric piano, portable, everything. We're comparing it with the Roland. It's hard to like one over the other, but one of them has more, I guess, variations and things that I like as opposed to the other. I think it's more of a presentation thing.
Absolutely.
That's me. So with that, we will conclude this presentation. Thank you for your time and look forward to seeing you and listening to your comments down below. Next time, this has been Ted Barshley with Alamo Piano Galleries.
I'm Roland Perez from the Alamo Music Sound Lab.
And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.